Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
The hurricane-battered northwestern Bahamas under a tropical storm warning. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Friday, September 13th. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Dawn Paris. Good evening. Residents of the Bahamas still trying to recover from a destructive Hurricane Dorian are bracing for the passage of another tropical system. A tropical storm warning is in effect for the northwestern Bahamas, excluding Andros Island. The areas under warning include Abaco and Grand Bahama, which were devastated by Dorian less than 2 weeks ago when the hurricane slammed into the northwest of the archipelago with 185-mile-per-hour winds and heavy rains that left some communities underwater. The warning was issued with the development of a potential tropical cyclone 9 and remained in place Friday evening as that system developed further into a tropical depression with maximum sustained winds near 30 miles per hour. It's forecast to move very near the northwestern Bahamas later on Friday and Saturday before becoming a tropical storm. In the latest advisory issued by the Miami-based National Hurricane Center at 5 p.m., the depression was located about 240 miles southeast of Freeport in Grand Bahama and 140 miles east-southeast of Great Abaco Island and moving northwest at 8 miles per hour.
Now, as it moves slowly towards the northwest, right, then we will be seeing more significant showers, Abaco and Grand Bahama. And you should also notice from the graphic, they're already getting showers and thunderstorms over those areas, and we've called into the sites there, and they're recognizing that. And we are hoping for a more northerly move, and the more north it moves, the better it is for the Bahamas and the recovery efforts. Now, we're only expecting winds to get the minimal tropical storm force winds anywhere from 39 probably to 60 miles per hour, which is, well, beneficial.
That was Director of the Bahamas Met Department, Trevor Baston, speaking at a press conference earlier in the day before the system developed into a depression. It's anticipated it will produce 2 to 4 inches of rain and isolated maximum amounts of 6 inches up to Sunday. And Baston said that is a particular concern given that several areas are still waterlogged.
Yes, you'll still be having pockets of heavy rainfall in the northwest Bahamas, the islands mentioned earlier. And it could produce some flooding because the Bahamas is flat and the soil is already saturated, what they call at field capacity. You can't take any more water, much more water or rainfall, and so it will just start to flood.
And amid concern that the bad weather will hamper search and recovery efforts and getting aid to hurricane-affected areas, Carl Smith, a spokesperson for the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, said a plan is in place.
NEMA is taking the necessary precautions. The weather system will slow down logistics, but we have contingency plans in place. In Grand Bahama, those with compromised roofs or damaged buildings should make preparations to move to the designated shelter, which is the Church of the Ascension. The Church of the Ascension. And they should do that during the late morning and early afternoon hours. Also, provisions are being made for those in official shelters in the impacted areas. The monitoring and assessment are ongoing.
Smith was speaking at a press conference on Friday morning. He also stressed that relief efforts were making progress, although not as quickly as some want. That comment came against the background of complaints by some affected residents that they have not seen anyone from government coming with food and water.
There may be pockets of affected population that may have had difficulty making contact with us and us with them, but I can assure you there's a lot of water. We need more water, and let's be a realist, the challenges are tremendous, but we are making tremendous progress. And to the extent that persons may not have received supplies, we are there to help. I've heard some comments along these lines that the government, they haven't seen anybody from the government, but our partners are on the ground. Or much of what you see, virtually all of what you see here, is facilitated through NEMA, through the government. No foreign entity can come into the Bahamas unless they have approval from the government. So it's a question of educating the people, so to speak. The government is on the ground. They are our representatives on the ground.
But the NEMA spokesperson urged those still waiting for aid since Hurricane Dorian impacted Abaco and Grand Bahama from September 1st to 2nd to be patient.
It takes time to get to everyone. We are doing our best. Let me use a simple example. If I visit the hospital now, there are people there. Most likely there are people there. I don't expect, well, some people expect to be served immediately. We have to prioritize. That's why they have this thing called triage. I must attend to the most urgent need first. We ask people to have patience, to bear with us, to support us in this effort, to partner with us.
The number of people registered missing after Hurricane Dorian has now been cut in half, but the official death toll remains the same. Guardian News Network's Jasmine Brown reports.
The number of people registered as missing after Hurricane Dorian now stands at 1,300, a sharp drop from the 2,500 reported by NEMA spokesperson Carl Smith on Wednesday. Smith said officials have since been able to check shelters and cross names off the list. But while that figure has decreased, the official number of deaths due to Dorian has not budged in days, despite officials insisting that the death toll is expected to skyrocket. Smith provided the updated figure from the missing persons register during a press conference on Thursday morning.
After beginning the process of cross-referencing the different databases, and you would have heard from Ms. Curry of the Bahamas Red Cross that they are also collecting data. So after cross-referencing these databases, the registered persons who have evacuated the islands are now at 1,300 persons, and this is down from the 2,500 persons that I reported yesterday.
As it relates to shelters, Smith says just over 2,000 people remain in shelters across New Providence. What has also remained constant is the official death toll from Dorian. Police Commissioner Anthony Ferguson insisted on Thursday that the number remains at 50.
We have never said that it's going to be quick. And I say again, this process is going to be very slow because we want to make sure that whatever is there, we want to make sure we recover it. The landmass is vast, and the teams are there, and the teams are committed.
His comments came after former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram said on Wednesday that based on information he has, hundreds of people were killed on Abaco alone.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis has denied claims that he turned down offers of assistance from two former leaders to assist in the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian. In a joint press conference on Wednesday after touring Abaco, former Prime Ministers Hubert Ingram and Perry Christie said they had offered to help Minnis, but the offers were not taken up. But the Prime Minister said in a statement on Thursday that he was surprised to hear those misleading remarks, which he called an unnecessary distraction. And he said the country did not have the time for divisiveness, partisan politics, or jockeying for position. The Prime Minister contended that following the hurricane, Ingram reached out to him and an offer of a major assignment was made, but the former leader declined that offer and also declined to meet with him at the office of the Prime Minister. He said the government has also asked Christie, his predecessor, to serve in a position in the response effort. Minnis said it is clear that there was and still is a misunderstanding, but insisted that patriotism required everyone to put this aside and move forward. The Prime Minister also responded to Ingram's claim that government officials did not visit shanty towns with Creole speakers to warn residents to evacuate before Dorian's approach. He said the former Prime Minister was mistaken on that issue as well, and media reports attest to that. Still to come in Caribbean Newsline, an opposition legislator in Dominica is arrested. We'll explain why after the break.
Coming up on Caribbean Passport, highlights of a memorable CariFesta 14 in Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago. The creativity of the Caribbean and all that the region has to offer was on full display. Celebrate our Festival of Arts as we strengthen the bond between us on Caribbean Passport, the CariFesta edition, right here on this station.
Yes, we're making up. Yes, so what? Yes, listen to that. Start to jump, 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 jump. Let them in the clear.
Welcome back. An opposition legislator in Dominica was arrested on Friday over statements he allegedly made during a recent public meeting of the Opposition United Workers' Party in the capital, Roseau. The party's deputy political leader, Joshua Francis, told the Dominican News online publication that Hector John, the parliamentary representative for the Salisbury constituency on the island's west coast, is being questioned by police for alleged incitement. He said the party was moving to secure legal representation for the parliamentarian. Last week, John told party supporters that the government should not think about calling general elections, warning that, quote, without electoral reform, you will have civil unrest on your hands, end quote. The police have not yet issued a statement on the matter. A senior member of the Ghana government says regional and general elections, as mandated by the Caribbean Court of Justice, could be held later this year. Public Health Minister Valda Lawrence led a delegation from the coalition government that comprises a Partnership for National Unity and the Alliance for Change to talks with representatives of the Ghana Elections Commission, GECOM. Shortly after the meeting with the 7-member commission, Lawrence said the delegation was given the assurance that no timeline had been set, but GECOM was working to see whether elections could be held this year. She said the government team inquired from GECOM whether there was a need for more money as it moves towards early elections, and the commission said it was looking at that. Grenada is the latest Caribbean country to begin feeling the effects of this year's drought. This follows concerns by the Caribbean Drought and Precipitation Monitoring Network earlier this month that prolonged drought conditions could cause below normal levels of groundwater, large rivers and reservoirs in the region. We get more in this report from GBN News.
NWASA, the National Water and Sewage Authority, says valve regulations instituted has had little or no impact on its supply. Low water supply in some collection areas, particularly Annandale, Les Avocats, Mardi Gras and Bon Accord, have been recorded. Assistant Manager of Transmission and Distribution, Ernest Bruno, says the Les Avocats Dam is most affected. It recorded a 50% reduction.
As we all know, Les Avocats supply areas basically from Minaka right onto Parade. That will also include Richmond Hill, Monjaloo, and those areas.
Although some rainfall was recorded, Plant Supervisor of Production and Quality Department, Junior Maureen, says it has been overshadowed by intense longer periods of dry spells.
The dam we are standing in here now is an 18-feet dam, and at present, if you see what our water level is, it's 10 feet down. So you understand the amount left. And the plant, which has a capacity of 300,000 gallons per day, that has been significantly reduced to in the region of 190 on some days or 200 at occasional time.
The Food and Agriculture Organization in a recent report said climatic conditions are expected to increase the intensity and frequency of droughts in the Caribbean going forward.
Jamaica pays tribute to the late cultural icon Louise Bennett Coverley on the centenary of her birth. Mary-Claire Williams has the details in this week's Newsline Entertainment.
Louise Bennett Coverley, the celebrated folklorist, actress and social commentator, is credited for taking Jamaican patois into the mainstream. To commemorate the centenary of her birth, this month Jamaica began celebrating 100 days of Miss Lou. Among activities so far, the Jamaican Cultural Development Commission hosted a floral tribute to Miss Lou at the National Heroes Park in the capital, Kingston. The Manchaniel Theatre Group was among those paying tribute to her. Culture Minister Olivia Grange said the centenary is cause for celebration.
We most often remember Miss Lou for the songs she sang to warm our hearts and the fascinating stories she told.
At another ceremony on the weekend, Prime Minister Andrew Holness also hailed Miss Lou's work to promote and preserve the island's culture.
Miss Lou, as we all knew her and revered her, deeply understood the dreams, desires, and aspirations of the ordinary Jamaican. The society in which she grew up at the time was only a few generations removed from slavery and was just emerging out of colonialism into a new dynamic of freedom and self-development. She understood the struggles of the people because she herself was born into those struggles.
As part of activities to mark the event, Bordentown Square in the parish of St. Andrew will officially be renamed in honor of Miss Lou. Mary-Claire Williams, Newsline Entertainment.
Ahead in sport, the head of the Anti-Doping Committee in Trinidad and Tobago says suspended sprinter Michelle Lee Ai has questions to answer. We'll be right back.
Mikel, tell us why she's considered an unusual body shape.
I'm considered an unusual body shape because of the proportions of my body, I'll say from neck to my feet.
Okay.
And my proportions are 44, 52, 100 inches.
100?
Uh-huh. I have gone between 95 and 100 inches for the past.
1.5 million British people visit the Caribbean, and Barbados is highly dependent on British tourism. With the exit from the European Union, the immediate effect was on the British pound. the devaluation was significant, which made it a whole lot more expensive for British citizens to travel to the Caribbean.
Top Trinidadian sprinter Michelle Lee IE needs to come forward and explain why she wasn't available for drug testing. That's according to the head of the anti-doping committee in Trinidad and Tobago after the athlete was handed a provisional suspension by the IAAF. TV6's Vinod Narwani tells us more.
The track and field fraternity has been dealt a serious blow following the news that Trinidad and Tobago sprinter Michelle Lee has been provisionally suspended from the sport. That's because she missed dope testing sessions on 3 occasions within a 12-month period because of a violation regarding her whereabouts. Dr. Terry Ali, who is the anti-doping chairman at the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee, provides reasons where Lee could have gone wrong.
The address she gave, either where she lives, either where she trains, when they came, she was not there. And then they did it another time and a third time. If you are absent from what you have in your Adams after 3 times, you now are considered to be in violation of the anti-doping rules.
So what must be done now by the Commonwealth Games gold medalist? According to Dr. Ali, Lee needs to respond to the Adams at WADA as to why she could not be found at the address that was given by her. And what does that mean? ADAMS is the acronym for Anti-Doping Administration and Management Systems, while WADA refers to the World Anti-Doping Agency.
She needs to get on to the ADAMS to WADA and explain why she was in violation, what happened, what was going through with her life, if there's any reason why she had to change addresses, if she had to change the whereabouts that she had submitted, and she could give that explanation. That would be significant. If she gives that and it shows for significant personal reasons, then I think Adams will take that, WADA will take that into consideration.
To cricket now, a brilliant half-century from Rakeem Cornwall and a hat-trick from O'Shane Thomas condemned Jamaica Tallawahs to their 3rd straight defeat as they went down to St. Lucia Zouks by 5 wickets as action in the CPL continued on Thursday. Batting first at Sabina Park, the Tallawahs managed a total of 170 off their 20 overs, with Glenn Phillips top scoring with 58, while Rovman Powell chipped in with 28. Fawad Abed and Obed McCoy picked up 2 wickets each. In reply, Cornwall frustrated the home side's bowling attack with a magical 75 off 30 deliveries. Cornwall's knock included 4 fours and 8 sixes. He put on an 111-run partnership with opening batsman Andre Fletcher, who scored an unbeaten 35 off 22 balls, and the Zouks got over the line in 16 overs. O'Shane Thomas had the best match figures of 3 for 26. Action in the CPL is continuing Friday evening, with the Tallawahs taking on the unbeaten defending champs Trinbago Knight Riders at Sabina Park. Meanwhile, the Tallawahs have had a major setback, with Andre Russell suffering a blow to his helmet in the first innings of that match against the Zouks, with the team already on the back foot, having lost 3 straight matches in the tournament. Vice-captain Rovman Powell says Russell's absence will definitely put the team under more pressure.
The Jamaica Tallawahs were 131 in the 14th over when the incident occurred. Fast bowler Hardus Villoen dug one in short, with Russell looking to play the pull shot, but missed. After receiving medical care on the field, Russell was stretchered off after an attempt to walk off failed. CT scans have since cleared the all-rounder of any serious injuries, and news that proved to be the only positive for the Tallawahs on the night. Before Russell's injury, Rovman Powell 44 and Glenn Phillips 58 added 87 runs for the 3rd wicket after the early demise of Chris Gale for a first ball duck. and Chadwick Walton for 8. Failure, though, of the middle order to find momentum meant the team could only manage 170 for 5 from their 20 overs. From there, 3 drop catches were quickly forgotten as Rakeem Cornwall had supporters scampering. The right-hander hit 8 massive 6s and 4 4s in a 30-ball knock of 78. His dismissal, however, brought about a slide of wickets, but fellow opener Andre Fletcher ensured the Zouks would leave with the points as he took them to victory at 171 for 5. The result leaves the Tallawahs foot of the table without a point, and head coach Donovan Miller fuming over his team's poor execution.
Yeah, it's really hard to take. We put a lot of work in preparation today. We spent a lot of time. We know exactly what the wicket was going to be like. We saw them bowl on it, and we knew that 170, 180 was going to be challenging on it. But for some reason, we know what to do, but we're just not doing it. Until the 10th over, we start to put the ball in the right area. It was very simple. All we have to do is bowl back off length. We know that we have enough experienced people there, but we're just not doing it.
The Tallawahs will play their second home game tonight at 8 p.m. against the Trinbago Knight Riders. And with Russell asked to rest, there will be pressure on an already out-of-sorts unit.
Not a little. It put a lot of pressure on the team. Losing Andre as a superstar, as a world beater, that's a serious hole in our team now. And worse, we have 3 losses. Something have to happen.
Staying with cricket, Tobago Marlins continued their dominance on their tour of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, whipping the hosts by 52 runs in the first of 3 ODIs in the Ian Alleyne Lincoln Roberts bilateral series that began on Wednesday. Batting first in Arnos Vale, Tobago Marlins posted 195 in 49 overs. Joshua James top scored with 53 off 47 deliveries, while Adrian Alexander and Kellon Lynch added 41 and 24 runs respectively. Jeremy Lane was the leading wicket taker for St. Vincent with figures of 3 for 27, while Asif Hooper and Kidron Pope picked up 2 wickets each. The Vincentians struggled in their reply as the Tobagonian pair of DeJourn Charles and Ansel Ned tore into the host side's batting lineup to restrict their total to 143 after 41 overs. Charles picked up 3 wickets for 37 runs, while Ned had figures of 3 for 25. The Tobago team had earlier routed the hosts by 4 wickets in the lone T20 match played at Park Hill. Action in the second ODI continued Friday at the Arnos Vale playing field. And that's the sport. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
In this week's Up Next segment, let's meet dancehall artist Gino.
Right, Gino is a recording artist from Lucy, Hanover. You understand? Yeah. And Gino is a brand where come to help elevate dancehall, take it to the next level. You understand?
How do you plan to do that?
Yeah, with the new sound that me have and the style and the flow,
How do you describe your style and your flow?
Well, unique.
A recap of the day's major developments. The hurricane battered northwestern Bahamas under a tropical storm warning as the depression nears the archipelago. And in sport, the head of the anti-doping committee in TNT says suspended sprinter Michelle Lee needs to explain why she wasn't available for drug testing. And that's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport around the clock, subscribe to CaribNews.com. And for more of our programming, log on to CaribVision.tv and check out our YouTube channel. We'll be back on Monday. But from all of us at CNT News, thank you for watching and have a good night and a safe weekend.